there guys, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to another Thrifty review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Marco Raffine, I've also heard it pronounced Marco Raffine, 36 count watercolor pencil set. This is not going to be a long review, so we're going to just go ahead and jump right into it. The packaging, I sourced my pencils from Jerry's Autorama. It came as a 72 pencil set combination, 36 watercolor pencils, 36 colored pencils, and I'm looking and reviewing the watercolor pencil set today. I've been using this product over the course of about a month now in a couple of different paintings and mixed media projects, just so that I could get some experience on them and be able to offer my particular insight. Now guys, my videos, are not sponsored in any shape, form, or fashion. Everything that I say is solely my opinion based on the research that I've done and the experience that I have, which may differ from another artist's experience. So you may want to watch a couple of other reviews on these pencils if you can find them, just to get a couple of other perspectives. Lord knows I do whenever I'm looking for new products. So the packaging is pretty straightforward. It is a cardboard box. It has a little artwork on the front. It says Marco Raffine 36 watercolor pencils. Says the same thing on the bottom left-hand corner of the packaging in a few different languages. If you flip the box over, it says Raffine or Raffine, whichever you prefer. Extra smooth, brilliant, water-soluble colors made from the finest quality pigments. And let's pause there for a second, because in my research, I was not able to find any light fast or any pigment information on the pencils. I did see on a couple of different sites they are advertised as professional grade products, but we'll get more into that in just a moment. Strong break resistant lids, and that you can create a wide range of effects when coloring with water and brush. The pencils are made in PRC, and they do not contain any rainforest wood. So the package is pretty straightforward. When you open it up, there is no tray in the package that's going to be separating the pencils. They're just going to be inserted in there with the sharpened lid facing up towards the top of the box. Now I've taken them out of the box and put them into a storage tin. I had some chocolates in this tin, and afterwards I thought it was so cute I didn't want to throw it away, so I just use it to actually store the pencils in, which we can take a look at here. So you have 36 pencils. As previously stated, no pigment information or no light fast information is on the packaging, on the pencils, or any research from the web that I could find. The pencils do not contain any color names either, so I just used that numbering system I've told you guys about in other videos, where I numbered from 1 up until the maximum number of the product, which in this case is 36, and just wrote that on the bottom of the, on a piece of masking tape, and wrapped it around the bottom of the pencil. Now the barrels themselves are standard gray. They say Raffine Aquarelle. There's a number here which I believe is in association to the set that they come in this case, the 36 count set. And there was also a number here on the bottom that I covered up with the masking tape. I believe that's the number that corresponds to the color of the pencil if you could find them to purchase them open stock, or you wanted to, I don't know, maybe reach out to the company and see about that particular color. There is color coding on the bottom of the barrel, which is supposed to correspond with the lid. And in this case, I will say that they are pretty accurate. Now, I was not able to see whether the pencils were centered or whether the lids and the barrel were centered, based on the fact that the color coding cap is capped off on the end and you can't see the other end of the pencil. However, a trick that I learned and that I've told you guys about in other videos is when sharpening the pencil, if the wood part is uneven on a consistent basis, it probably means that the lid is off center. With that being said, all of the lids in this particular set of pencils, I think, were pretty on center. I didn't really experience any sharpening issues with them, and I have sharpened them with both a handheld sharpener as well as a electric sharpener. So it held up pretty well against all of that. The leads in the pencils, I'll show you, are actually really soft. However, they are break resistant. They lay down really smoothly and they feel soft on the paper. And we're going to get into some of the effects of them as we look at some of the example paintings that I've done. And I've also did those example paintings on different types of paper to make sure that, you know, it can cover a wider variety of different type of artwork. So that's pretty much the barrel, straightforward, nothing too pizzazzy or fancy. The pencils are, you know, pretty modern looking, and yeah, so that's pretty much the physicalities of the packaging and the product itself. Let's take a look at some swatches, some color swatches here that I did. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for a minute at all, you know that my swatching is done on mixed media paper. This is Arteza Mixed Media Journal, or one of their mixed media journals, and I believe it's 9x12, if I'm not mistaken. And I use this journal to swatch most of my products because I use mixed media paper more than I use any other type of paper. Watercolor paper probably runs a very close neck and neck second. And I always tell you guys, you want to try to swatch your products out on the paper that you're going to use the most, so that you'll see how it's going to perform on a more regular basis for you. So here you can see I actually swatched the pencils out in the order that they were arranged in the box, which was okay. I numbered the swatches according to the number that's on the barrel for each pencil. That way I have this as a reference whenever I was using the pencils to paint or to create a composition with. Now, I started by filling half of each square end with the dry media from the pencil, and then using a wet brush to drag that color down just to see how it would get as it transitioned into a lighter wash. The colors are pretty vibrant, guys. I have to say that. They held up really well against the water. There was not a lot of lifting that went on, like accidental lifting, as can happen a lot of times, especially if you have your brush too wet when handling watercolor pencils. They layered really well. After letting the first layer dry, I glazed a second layer. Then I also went back on top with just a little dry layer here to see how the pencils would layer from wet to dry and dry to wet. And I tell you guys all the time, you do not necessarily, there's no rule that says you have to use water with your watercolor pencils. They can be used as a colored pencil substitute or as colored pencils, because that's what they are as well. Now, I did experience a little bit of smudging with this particular pencil set in its dry form. Is not a lot. It wasn't anything that just got me upset, but I did want to let you guys know that because that was an effect that I experienced while using the product. Now, there's a nice range of colors, in my opinion, in the 36 count set. You get some really nice reds and oranges, and I love the range of yellow. The greens are pretty okay. There's a lot of greens. There's like 6 different shades, which I thought was really nice. There are a few different shades of blue here and violets, which was really nice. I think it's probably lends more to like flower work or maybe landscapes. Some still life paintings and drawings can be done with them. I think they'll work well in those particular aspects. And again, I'll say this is just my opinion now. The colors did not have a huge shift from wet to dry. You pretty much get what you see, which I thought was really nice. Now, I'm going to refer back to something I said earlier in the video where we talked about, where I mentioned that I've seen these pencils advertised as a professional grade product. Now, from my experience with professional grade watercolor pencils like my Caran d'Ache, some of the upper echelon student grade pencils like the Gold Faber-Castell pencils, and I actually have some other pencils that I'm going to eventually get around to reviewing that I've acquired, like Durant Inktense and Durant watercolor pencils. So in comparison to those, I'm not really sure if I would call this a professional grade product. I would definitely probably qualify it as a really high ranking student grade product because it performed really well for me. And I was really happy with the color payoff and the vibrancy that the colors held after being wet. So let's take a look at a couple example paintings so we can go ahead and get done with this video, guys. I don't want to keep you too long. So the first thing I did here was just a little quick painting of a lily with the pencils just to get my feet wet with using them. They performed really well. I really love the fact that the lid held up to me wetting the paper and taking the pencil and going through the wetness of the paper without the lid breaking or becoming too soft or brittle. I was able to actually pick, let me grab a pencil here so I can show you guys what I'm saying. I was actually able to take a paintbrush, you know, and wet it and pick pigment up from the lid of the pencil and use it to paint with. And a lot of these different pictures that you guys are going to see without causing any major damage to the lid. Now, of course, you have to let it dry if you're going to use it again after doing that. But yeah, they perform really well. So preliminary, I was pretty happy. It was a pretty solid product. The swatching turned out well. It had a really nice color payoff. And the first experience I had with doing the composition, you know, it wasn't bad. So let's look at some things that I've done real quickly here. The first thing I did was a painting of a poppy, which I framed because I do sell my artwork, or you know, try to sell my artwork anyway. So here's a painting of a poppy that was done. Now this particular tutorial is on my YouTube channel. I'll try to remember to link it in the video description so you guys can check it out if you would like to. So that was the first painting. Here I got to experience how well they blended with each other. Maybe 2 or 3 layers before it comes to the point where it won't take any more, or it starts to lift away the pigment even with a minuscule amount of water on your brush. But overall performed really well. I was able to get the background done with the pencils. I did not use any other medium other than the pencils, if I'm not mistaken. I may have used some gel pen, if I'm not mistaken, for the highlights. But other than that, the entire composition was pretty much done with the pencils. After doing the watercolor layer, I did come back in with the pencils in just their dry form for some enhancement and some mixed media fun, so to speak. So enjoyed that tutorial. It was really fun. I really enjoyed using the pencils. I was really happy with them considering how much I had paid for them. The second composition I did with them was kind of off camera. I was again trying the pencils out to see how they work with floral artwork. I did this composition, keeping it in the violet family again. As you can see, really bright yellow payoff from the yellows that are in that set. The greens will get as light or as deep as you need them to. You can continue to layer to build color. This is mixed media paper. Okay, so this is done on James Davenport Mixed Media Journal. So this was done on mixed media paper. And this composition was done on Canson XL 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, which is not a cotton paper. I do believe it's a cellulose paper. So we have 2 different paper rams that the pencils were used on, and they held up really well in both aspects, including the original one, which was done on the Arteza mixed media paper. Now there is a third composition that was done, or a fourth composition, should I say, that was done, that was went up on the channel. It's the very last video. It was a video of book binding and a card combination that was being done as a gift. Now I've already given that gift, but I am going to insert a picture here in the top left hand corner of the screen for you, hopefully. That way you'll get to see where I did the painting of some, or the drawing, should I say, of some bleeding hearts, and then made a card to match using different blues and greens and browns, if I'm not mistaken. That composition was done on 100% cotton watercolor paper. So again, testing them out on a different type of paper. It turned out really well. I really enjoyed doing this video. I really had fun with that project. I'll try to remember to link that one in the video description as well, so you guys can go check it out if you want to. So that's pretty in all these compositions. The pencils perform pretty brilliantly. Like I said, they're gonna blend well, they're gonna layer pretty well, you're gonna have a vibrant color payoff. There's a very nice color range. It's got a few grays and browns in it, to help you if you're a landscape artist. I didn't experience cracks and breaks upon sharpening or the lids being weak, although they are soft. So some things that may have kind of disappointed me about the pencils before we jump into the price. I struggled to keep a sharp point. Now the pencils will sharpen, but if you get them too sharp, that very tip will break off. I did experience that with most of the pencils that I used doing the compositions. I don't like them as much on mixed media paper as I do on like the 100% cotton paper that you guys saw in the journal project. So, I mean, with these pencils, I would use them in my journals, although it didn't turn out bad at all per se. I just like the vibrancy that it has on watercolor paper more. Especially 100% watercolor, 100% cotton watercolor paper. It looks really nice on student grade watercolor paper and on cellulose watercolor paper, but I didn't mean to hit that camera, guys, but it looks, in my opinion, even better on the 100% watercolor paper. And like I said, they do smudge a little. So other than that, I really didn't have too many drawbacks with the pencil. I'll throw this out there again. I don't really consider the pencils a professional grade product. I really think that they are, you know, really upper student grade, or if they are professional grade, they're not like up there with like Karen Dosh, but great product. Great product. Don't take anything away from the performance. So let's talk about the price. I got mine from Jerry's. I told you guys earlier, it came in a 72 set. There's 36 watercolor pencils, and then there were 36 colored pencils, which I'll get around to using on the channel and reviewing as well. All 72 of those pencils cost $26.49 currently on Jerry's. So in my opinion, straight out the gate, that's the best value for them. You can also find them on Amazon. Amazon carries them in different quantities. I found a 12, a count of 24, and 36 count. Now the 36 count was $28.99 just for the watercolor pencils, when you can get 72 pencils, which are 36 watercolor pencils and 30 colored pencils, from Jerry's for the $26.49, which is a huge value over what Amazon is selling them for. I also found the 36 count set on Walmart.com. You can get them on there for $22.97, but again, that's really close range to the $26.49 from Jerry's for the 72 count. So if you're going to get them, I definitely suggest that you source them for Jerry's Autorama, so you can get the 36 watercolor pencils as well as the 36 colored pencils for, you know, roughly $27. For those who value my opinion and care about it at all, do I recommend the pencils? Definitely. I definitely recommend the pencils. I think that they would be great for sketchbook work. I'm not really sure the light fast quality of them, so I wouldn't necessarily use them in a high dollar, you know, composition that I was doing, that I was going to sell for hundreds of dollars. I mean, I would give the life expectancy on them about maybe 25 years, maybe a little bit more than that. And this is just me basing it on the things that I've learned and that I know from light fast and pigment information. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Pretty nice product, pretty straightforward product. I would definitely recommend them for travel work, for journal work, for art book work, and sketchbook work. They'll be a nice gift to throw in your kids' bags for their artwork, or for a student that's like in college and working in art courses. I think this will be a great product for them. So there you have it, guys. If you like any of the information, you found any of it helpful, if you've used them and you know, happen to agree with anything in this video, or you want to add anything to this video, go ahead, hit it up in the comment section. Let us know about your experience. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like the video if you found any of the information useful. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Tell your friends to subscribe. I'm really working on growing the channel, and I would love to, you know, be able to touch more people. Share the video. That's going to help us grow. That's going to help the community grow. Head on over to the Thrifty Apprentice Facebook page and like us there. There's also an Instagram page where you can share, the Facebook page, you can share your artwork with us, the Thrifty Apprentice community, so we can all get a chance to see what you guys are working on. I would love to see that. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every video, whether it's review or not, just keep painting.